Nearly half of Americans over 60 cannot afford their basic daily costs in 2025. What's the difference between financial security and financial disaster in retirement? The decisions these seniors made in their 30s cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars by retirement. I'm about to show you intimate interviews with older Americans who are living the consequences of financial choices they thought were smart at the time. Their honest reflections about money, debt, and retirement planning reveal truths that could transform your financial future if you act on them now. These aren't stories of reckless spending or gambling losses. These are careful people who made what seemed like reasonable decisions that turned into financial nightmares. The 401k withdrawal disaster. Dorothy sits across from me in her small apartment, wearing her retail uniform after an 8-hour shift. At 67, she should be enjoying retirement, maybe traveling or spending time with grandchildren. Instead, she's folding clothes at a department store for $12 an hour because of one decision she made 8 years ago. I had $180,000 in my 401k when I was 59, Dorothy says, her voice steady but her eyes showing the weight of regret. I thought I was being smart. I wanted to buy a house, and that money was just sitting there. I figured I'd use it for the down payment and still have plenty left over. What Dorothy didn't understand was how the tax system treats 401k withdrawals. She took out the entire amount at once, thinking she was making a strategic financial move. The reality hit her the following April when she filed her taxes. The tax bill was $54,000. She says, I went from thinking I had $180,000 to realizing I actually had $126,000 after taxes. But that wasn't the end of it. The early withdrawal penalty added another $18,000 to her costs. Dorothy had withdrawn her money before age 59 and a half, triggering the IRS penalty of 10% on the entire amount. Combined with federal income tax at roughly 30% for her bracket and state taxes, she lost $72,000 of her retirement savings to the government. I remember sitting at my kitchen table with the tax forms, and the math just didn't make sense. Dorothy recalls, how could $180,000 become $108,000? I kept rechecking the numbers, but they were right. Dorothy bought her house with the remaining money, but the hidden costs kept coming. Property taxes, maintenance, homeowners insurance, and utilities ate into her budget faster than she anticipated. Without her 401k funds to fall back on, every unexpected expense became a crisis. Social Security on its own replaces only about 40% of pre-retirement income on average, making her lost savings even more devastating. The roof needed repair 3 years after I bought the house. That was $8,000 I didn't have. Then the furnace went out the next winter. Another $4,500. I started using credit cards for these things because I didn't have savings anymore. The compound interest she destroyed haunts her most. Dorothy shows me a calculation her neighbor helped her work out. If she had left that $180,000 in her 401k and continued working until 65, the money would have grown to approximately $285,000. If she had waited until 67, her current age, it would be worth over $350,000. I think about that number every single day, she says, her voice cracking slightly. I could have had $350,000 right now. Instead, I have a house with a mortgage I'm still paying and about $12,000 in my checking account. Dorothy's work schedule reflects her financial reality. She works 32 hours a week at the retail store, standing for most of her shift. Her knees ache, her back hurts, and she takes medication for arthritis that makes the physical demands harder. She never imagined she'd be working in her late 60s. My coworkers are mostly in their 20s and 30s. They're nice to me, but I can see in their eyes that they wonder what I'm doing there. Sometimes I wonder the same thing. The house she bought with her 401k money isn't the dream home she envisioned. It's a modest 3-bedroom ranch that needs constant upkeep. The neighborhood has declined since she moved in, and the property value hasn't increased as much as she hoped. I thought I was investing in my future by buying this house, Dorothy explains. But a house is just a place to live. It's not really an investment unless you're planning to sell it and move somewhere cheaper. And where would I go? Dorothy's biggest regret isn't the house purchase itself, but her complete misunderstanding of how 401k withdrawals work. She thought the money was hers to use however she wanted, like a savings account she had been contributing to for decades. Nobody ever explained to me that taking money out early would cost so much, she says. I knew there would be taxes, but I thought maybe 20%. I had no idea about the penalty or how much the taxes would actually be. The IRS doesn't consider personal circumstances when applying early withdrawal penalties. Dorothy's desire to own a home, her job situation, or her financial needs didn't matter. The rules applied regardless of her reasons or intentions. The penalty is 10% of whatever you take out, period, Dorothy explains, having learned this lesson the expensive way. It doesn't matter if you're buying a house, paying for medical bills, or anything else. The government gets their money first. Dorothy now works until 7 p.m. most weekdays and every other weekend. Her retirement dreams included volunteer work, maybe some travel, and time to pursue hobbies she never had time for during her working years. Instead, she's dealing with difficult customers and learning new computer systems for inventory management. I see people my age coming into the store, shopping with their grandchildren, and I know they're retired, she says. They have that relaxed look about them. They're not watching the clock or worrying about their manager calling them in for extra shifts. The financial statements Dorothy keeps tell the story of her lost opportunity. She can trace exactly how her money would have grown if she had left it alone. The compound interest would have added thousands of dollars every year, money that would be working for her now instead of her working for money. I understand now that your 401k isn't money you have, Dorothy says, looking directly at the camera. It's money you're saving for later. When you take it out early, you're not just losing that money. You're losing all the money it would have become. Dorothy's story demonstrates how one financial decision can reshape an entire retirement. Her dream of homeownership became reality, but at a cost that continues to affect her daily life 8 years later. Yet her situation could be worse. At least she has some income from work to supplement what little she receives each month. When Social Security isn't enough, Robert's story reveals what happens when Social Security becomes your only retirement plan. At 69, he sits at his small kitchen table, surrounded by bills and receipts, his construction workers' hands still bearing the calluses from 4 decades of physical labor. He never expected to be calculating whether he can afford both his blood pressure medication and a week's worth of groceries. I worked construction for 42 years, Robert says, his voice carrying the weight of someone who believed hard work would guarantee security. I started when I was 18, right out of high school. Concrete, framing, roofing, demolition, I did it all. I figured if I worked that long and paid into Social Security every single week, it would take care of me when I got old. Robert's Social Security check arrives on the 3rd Wednesday of every month, $1,847. When he first calculated this amount before retiring, it seemed reasonable. He had paid off his car, and his apartment rent was manageable. He thought he could live modestly, but comfortably on nearly $1,900 a month. The problem is everything else kept going up while my check stayed basically the same, Robert explains, spreading out his monthly bills across the table. My rent is $1,200 now. 3 years ago, it was $950 for the same apartment. The landlord raises it every year, and there's nothing I can do about it. After rent, Robert has $647 remaining for every other expense in his life. Food, utilities, phone, transportation, medication, clothing, and any unexpected costs must fit within this budget. The math becomes brutal when broken down by category. His electric bill averages $110 in summer months when he runs the air conditioning and $85 in winter. The gas bill adds another $45 monthly. His phone costs $35. Car insurance is $90. These basic utilities alone consume $270 of his remaining $647, leaving $377 for food, medicine, gas, and everything else. Robert pulls out a grocery receipt from 3 days ago. The total is $89.34 for basic items: bread, milk, eggs, ground beef, chicken, rice, canned vegetables, and fruit. He shows me an identical receipt from 2022 for similar items totaling $45.12. This is the same stuff I always buy, Robert says, pointing to the items listed. Same brands, same quantities. But look at these prices. A dozen eggs cost $3.89 now. They were $1.79 3 years ago. Ground beef went from $4.99 a pound to $7.49. Everything doubled, but my Social Security didn't double. The Social Security Administration's cost of living adjustment for 2025 increased Robert's monthly benefit by approximately $49. While this represents a 2.5% increase, Robert's actual living costs have risen much faster than this adjustment covers. They gave me an extra $49 a month to help with inflation, Robert says with a bitter laugh. My rent alone went up $250 a year. The grocery bill went up more than that. $49 doesn't even cover 1 week of the price increases I'm seeing. Robert's medicine cabinet tells another story of impossible choices. He takes medication for high blood pressure, diabetes, and arthritis. Even with Medicare coverage, his monthly prescription costs total $180. Some months, when money is particularly tight, he skips doses or tries to stretch his medications longer than prescribed. I never thought I'd be the kind of person who has to choose between food and medicine, Robert admits, his weathered hands shaking slightly as he organizes pill bottles. But there are weeks when I look at my bank account and I have to make that choice. Sometimes I buy the medicine and eat beans and rice for a week. Sometimes I buy groceries and hope my blood pressure doesn't spike too bad. The physical toll of construction work means Robert's body is breaking down faster than his finances can support repairs. His knees ache from decades of kneeling on concrete. His back problems stem from years of heavy lifting. His hands are arthritic from repetitive motions with tools and machinery. Robert works part-time at a local hardware store, earning $13 an hour for 20 hours a week. This adds approximately $260 to his monthly income after taxes. The job requires him to stand for his entire shift, lift heavy items, and help customers load lumber and supplies into their vehicles. I'm not working there because I enjoy it, Robert says frankly. I'm working there because I can't survive on Social Security alone. My boss is nice enough, and my coworkers don't treat me bad, but I'm 69 years old loading bags of concrete mix into pickup trucks. This isn't how I pictured retirement. Robert's apartment is a one-bedroom unit in a complex built in the 1970s. The carpet is worn, the appliances are old, and the walls are thin enough that he hears his neighbors' conversations. He can't afford to move to a nicer place, and he can't afford the potential rent increases that come with moving. I look around this place and think about all the houses I helped build over the years, Robert reflects. Beautiful homes with granite countertops and hardwood floors. I put my sweat into making those places perfect, for other families. Now, I'm living in a place that's falling apart, and I can't afford to fix it or leave it. Robert's understanding of Social Security's limitations came too late to change his situation. He believed the program would provide enough income for basic retirement living, not realizing it was designed to supplement other retirement savings rather than replace them entirely. Nobody ever told me Social Security was just part of retirement planning, Robert says. I thought if you worked and paid in for 40 years, it would take care of you. I was wrong. But even when people do try to save for retirement, they sometimes make mistakes that are just as costly as not saving at all. Sometimes the problem isn't a lack of planning, but a fundamental misunderstanding of how retirement accounts actually work. The Roth IRA mystery. Patricia discovered this the hard way when she opened her first retirement account. At 58, she sits in her living room, holding a folder of financial documents that represent one of the most frustrating discoveries of her life. She finally understood how Roth IRAs actually work, but the lesson came 6 years too late and cost her thousands of dollars in lost growth. I was so proud of myself when I opened that Roth IRA, Patricia says, her voice carrying a mix of embarrassment and frustration. I was 52, and I had been putting off retirement planning for years. I kept telling myself I'd start next month, next year, when I had more money. Finally, I walked into the bank and said I wanted to open a retirement account. The bank representative helped Patricia open a Roth IRA and explained the contribution limits and tax advantages. Patricia felt relieved to finally be taking control of her retirement planning. She deposited $8,000 from her savings account, the maximum contribution allowed for someone her age at the time. I remember walking out of that bank feeling like I had accomplished something important, Patricia recalls. I thought I was being financially responsible. I had opened a retirement account and put money in it. I figured the hard part was over. For the next 6 years, Patricia received quarterly statements showing her Roth IRA balance. The account started at $8,000 and grew slowly but steadily. By 2024, the balance had reached $8,547. Patricia felt satisfied that her money was growing, even if the growth seemed modest. I thought the statements looked fine. Patricia explains, pulling out the quarterly reports. The balance was going up every quarter. It wasn't going up by much, but it was growing. I figured that's how retirement accounts work, slow and steady growth over time. What Patricia didn't realize was that her $8,000 was sitting in the Roth IRA's default money market account, earning approximately 0.1% interest annually. The account was designed as a temporary holding place for contributions before they were invested in mutual funds, stocks, or other securities that could generate higher returns over time. Patricia's financial situation changed when she turned 58 and decided to meet with a financial advisor to review her retirement planning. She brought her Roth IRA statements, expecting praise for her 6 years of disciplined saving. Instead, the advisor's reaction was immediate shock. She looked at my statements and asked me what investment options I had chosen for the money. Patricia remembers, I told her I hadn't chosen any investments because I thought opening the account was the investment. That's when her jaw literally dropped. She couldn't believe the money had been sitting there earning basically nothing for 6 years. The financial advisor explained that opening a Roth IRA was only the first step in retirement investing. The money contributed to the account needed to be allocated to specific investments like mutual funds, index funds, or individual stocks to generate meaningful growth over time. Nobody at the bank explained this to me. Patricia says, her confusion still evident years later. They helped me open the account and deposit the money, but they never said I needed to do anything else. I thought putting money in a retirement account meant it would automatically grow at retirement account rates. The advisor showed Patricia what her $8,000 could have become if it had been invested in a basic S&P 500 index fund instead of sitting in the money market account. Over 6 years, with average annual returns of approximately 10%, her initial $8,000 contribution could have grown to over $14,000 by 2024. When she showed me those numbers, I felt sick to my stomach. Patricia admits, I had done what I thought was the right thing, but I had basically wasted 6 years of potential growth. The money was just sitting there doing nothing while it could have been working for me. The advisor helped Patricia reallocate her Roth IRA funds into a diversified portfolio of index funds. Within 18 months of making this change, Patricia's account balance grew from $8,547 to over $12,000, demonstrating the power of proper investment allocation. Patricia's mistake illustrates a common misunderstanding about retirement accounts. Many people believe that opening an IRA or 401k automatically means their money is invested for growth. In reality, most retirement accounts require account holders to actively select their investment options. I had friends who talked about their 401k as growing by thousands of dollars every year. Patricia explains, I couldn't understand why mine was growing so slowly. Now, I know they were actually investing their money, while I was just storing mine. The lost opportunity keeps Patricia awake at night. She calculates regularly what her account balance would be if she had invested the money properly from the beginning. The difference between what she has and what she could have had grows larger every month as compound interest works on a smaller base than it should have. My expensive lesson was learning that opening a retirement account is just step one. Patricia says, looking directly at the camera. Step 2 is actually investing the money you put in there. Without step 2, step 1 is almost worthless. Patricia now contributes regularly to her properly invested Roth IRA and has educated herself about different investment strategies. She reads financial publications and attends seminars about retirement planning, determined not to make similar mistakes with her future contributions. But even when people do everything right with their retirement planning, life has a way of destroying decades of careful preparation in a matter of months. Sometimes the threat doesn't come from poor financial decisions or lack of knowledge. Sometimes it comes from circumstances completely beyond anyone's control. Debt that never dies. Frank and Martha sit at their dining room table, surrounded by credit card statements that tell the story of how quickly a medical emergency can destroy a lifetime of financial planning. At 71 and 68, they never imagined they would be drowning in $47,000 of high-interest debt that grows faster than they can pay it down. We weren't spenders, Martha says, her voice quiet but firm. We didn't go on expensive vacations or buy fancy cars. We lived in the same house for 30 years, drove our cars until they fell apart, and saved what we could. The debt didn't come from living beyond our means. Martha's cancer diagnosis in March 2023 changed everything. Even with Medicare and supplemental insurance, the out-of-pocket costs began immediately. Her first oncology appointment required a $400 copay. The CT scans, blood work, and specialist consultations added hundreds of dollars in additional costs before treatment even began. The insurance covered most of the big stuff, but the little things added up so fast. Martha explains, shuffling through medical bills. Every appointment had a copay. Every test had a deductible. The prescriptions were expensive even with coverage. We were spending $800 to $1,200 every month on medical costs that we never had before. Frank's income from his part-time job at a grocery store wasn't enough to cover these new expenses plus their regular bills. Their savings account had $8,500, which seemed adequate for small emergencies, but disappeared within the first 3 months of Martha's treatment. We started using credit cards to pay for groceries and utilities because all our cash was going to medical bills, Frank admits. We told ourselves it was temporary. Once Martha got better and the medical bills stopped, we'd pay the credit cards back quickly. The couple had 3 credit cards with relatively low balances before Martha's illness. Within 8 months, all 3 cards were maxed out. The medical expenses, combined with reduced income, when Frank had to miss work to take Martha to appointments, created a financial spiral they couldn't control.